Hello, hello. You're very welcome here. My name is Aisling, and as ever today I'm here to talk about books. So it's already that time where we're going into September, so I gotta do a September TBR and I don't know what I want to read, right? So I have decided to go down the route of the TBR jar. So I just robbed a load of prompts off of the internet, and I actually don't even know what I could choose for some of these prompts, but that's the fun of it. So we're gonna get cracking straight away. We're gonna choose from hopefully my physical TBR, but we'll move to the Kindle if needs be as well. So okay, I don't even know how many I'm going to choose. I guess it just depends on what I pick and then what works for that prompt. So this is exciting. I'm really excited for this. Ugh. Okay, I try not to read it so I can show you first. Hopefully it will focus. Is that focused? Who knows? Oh, a book you bought on sale. I don't remember what I paid for my books. Oh man, actually there are a couple that I bought from The Works. So The Works is like a super cheap shop. It sells like stationery and stuff for those of you who are not from Ireland or the UK. Okay, so I don't know if this really counts as a book that I bought on sale. I actually don't know what I paid for my books because I always take the sticker off the front because I'm not a sticker gal. And there's actually a fake sticker on the front of this one, which is quite annoying. But I know that I got this one for much cheaper than it should have been. And it is the second part of a duology. Probably needs no introduction. Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. So these are the guys that are somehow in the Shadow and Bone Netflix series. So when I went to read the Shadow and Bone series, I was like, where are all these people? But it turns out they were in Six Crows. So we're back with the likes of Kaz Brekker et al. I don't really know what this one's about. Six of Crows was a heist novel and I listened to it on audio and I really enjoyed it, and I have been meaning to get around to this as something that like I'm looking forward to. Look, I know I'm stretching this prompt a little bit, but this is my book that I bought on sale. That's book number uno. I've already lost the jar. Got it. For number two. Why do I find this so exciting? Okay, number two. A book that's been translated. Okay, I immediately thought of one, right? But I know it's a chunky one. But I feel like it's the right time of year to read it. I bought this probably around this time last year, fully intending to read it kind of quite quickly, but I never got around to it. It is the Wind-Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. Isn't this edition just absolutely beautiful? So it's one of the vintage Japan editions. My partner gave me all of them except for this one because I just banged on about how much I loved this edition and the other editions. And then for Christmas he bought me the lot of them because he's great and we both love books, so that's nice. But oh my gosh, that writing is tiny. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how many pages I'm up against. Okay, it is 607. 607. We can do this, right? So I actually don't really know what this is about. I've read some Murakami and enjoyed it. There's something about Japanese fiction in general, how it can be a little bit strange and also quiet. I just really like that. So I'm going to tell you what this is about via the blurb because I actually don't know. So Toru Okada's cat has disappeared. His wife is growing more distant every day. Then there are the increasingly explicit telephone calls he has recently been receiving. As this compelling story unfolds, the tidy suburban realities of Okada's vague and blameless life spent cooking, reading, listening to jazz and opera and drinking beer at the kitchen table are turned inside out. He embarks on a bizarre journey guided by a succession of characters, each with a tale to tell. And it says here that it was translated by J. Rubin. I don't like how they don't put the translator on the cover, but it, like, look, it's in the little flappy flap, so it's not so bad. But yeah, like, I mean, that doesn't really tell you what this is about at all, does it? It's Murakami. It's a buster of a book. I really hope I like it. We're already off to a chunky start. Right, so my mom just came in there and was like, oh, clearly you're doing something there. Sorry for interrupting. She doesn't have a clue that I have a YouTube channel, so I'm just standing here with my tripod and my camera facing me and a stack of books around me. She's like, oh, sorry for interrupting. So politely. Okay, book number 3. Or prompt number 3 even. I already feel like the 2 books that I have are probably quite enough. But a book you think you will rate 5 stars. Again, I immediately think of a book, but it's another buster of a book. It's another really long one. We're gonna do it. We're gonna read A Little Life. I think I'm gonna love this book. I love a book that absolutely devastates me, that has me in the bits, that has me unwell. I love a good cry. I actually read the start of this book probably in about 2018 or so. I just saw it on the shelf in the library and I read the synopsis back when I used to do that, just pick books randomly off shelves, and I was like, oh, that sounds good, and I probably got about a third of the way in and then I had to bring it back because somebody had a hold on it. I'm a glutton for punishment and I'm a glutton for long books. This one is 720 pages. It's A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I read To Paradise and loved it. Look, I know it got a little bit slow in the middle, but we'll just ignore that part. This, I just feel like it's gonna blow me away. It's one of my partner's favourite books as well, and we do share taste a lot of the time. The writing in this is also not large. Looks like in September, that's gorgeous, isn't it? It looks like in September that I'm going to be reading some hefty books, such as how the TBR jar works apparently. That is book number 3. I'm like, maybe I should just stop now. I also have some library hauls on the way. I can feel it in my waters. So prompt number 4. Right, what have we got, lads? What have we got? Okay, a book with a low rating on Goodreads. That's interesting. I'm going to need to pull out my phone. My old flip phone. Average rating. We want to rate it from low to high. Oh, I had a feeling I was going to end up reading this book soon. I don't think any of these are particularly low. Okay, I'll tell you. We've got None of This Is Serious by Catherine Prasifka. She's Sally Rooney's sister-in-law, and this is that book, but apparently it's not great. Do you know what, lads? We're going to go rogue and we're going to read it, and if nothing else, it won't be sitting on my shelf taunting me because I haven't read it. So the rating for this is 3.18, but it only has 304 pages. So look, I feel like potentially there might be a DNF coming on, but it's signed, so that's something. Let's tell you what this is about, because chances are a lot of people won't have heard of this one. I do really like the cover though. Dublin student life is ending for Sophie and her friends. They've got everything figured out and Sophie feels left behind as they all start to go their separate ways. She's overshadowed by her best friend Grace. She's been in love with Finn for as long as she's known him, and she's about to meet Rory, who's suddenly available to her online. At a party, what was already unstable completely falls apart and Sophie finds herself obsessively scrolling social media. Girl, I feel ya. Waiting for something, anything to happen. None of This Is Serious is about the uncertainty and absurdity of being alive today. That sounds promising, just from that sentence alone. It's about balancing the real world with the online and the vulnerabilities in yourself, your relationships, your body. At its heart, this is a novel about friendships strong enough to withstand anything. Okay, I'm kind of curious about it. Like, it's got a 3.18 rating, and I think that a 3-star personally it's like a decent read. I don't give out 5 stars very often, so we're going to read None of This Is Serious by Catherine Pacifica. Lads, this is not going how I thought it was going to go. I was like, I'm going to read all the books that I really want to read, and the prompts aren't going my way. I'm just going to pick some more prompts. We're going to see what's happening with this little jar. I just want to keep pulling prompts until I get books that I really want to read. But we're living by the law of the jar, so a book of poetry. Okay. Straight away. Ada Limon, The Hurting Kind. Love this woman, American laureate for poetry, I believe, and I think this one is her latest collection. It's blurbed as an astonishing collection about interconnectedness between the human and non-human ancestors and ourselves, from National Book Critics Circle Award winner and National Book Award finalist Ada Limon. She's one of my favourite poets. There's something about her. Her words are so intimate and so specific, sometimes about the natural world, but a lot of the time about relationships. There's a poem that she wrote, and I think it's called The Raincoat, and the last line of that, like, I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I just feel like it's really relevant to my life, that poem. I'm actually quite excited to get around to this because I haven't been reading nearly as much poetry as I normally would since I started BookTube. So that's Ada Limon, The Hurting Kind. Right, I'm excited about that one, and it negates the length of the other ones a little bit. Right, we're gonna go back to the jar, and give it a little spin with my finger. There's people like driving down the road and my house is at the bottom of a hill facing up. So any cars that drive down, they can just see me standing here talking to a camera. So a hard launch of my booktube channel, I guess. One of these days I'll tell real people that I have a booktube channel, but that day will not be today. Anyway, you're rambling, Aisling. The second book in a series. Well, like, I could have picked Crooked Kingdom for that, couldn't I? But I didn't, because I bought that on sale apparently. I have 2 books in mind, and they're both literally stacked right here because I want to read them both. I got them for my birthday. It's a tough competition, and they're both the second book in a series. I read Jade City, which is the first book in the Greenbone saga, and I read Assassin's Apprentice, which is the first book in the Farseer trilogy, and I really enjoyed them both. But I think I read Jade City first, so in the interest of not forgetting everything I've ever read ever before I read the sequel, I think I'll go with Jade War. So this trilogy is set on the island of Kekon, and we are following basically 2 warring families. They've been in a Cold War, but things heated up in Jade City, and they're both kind of like warring for territories in their city, and they both have access to this stuff called Jade, and Jade basically turns you into a superhuman. We follow one of the families more closely than the other, and it's very political, it's very dark, it's very interesting, and it's very good, and I'm really looking forward to reading Jade War. I'm gonna see, can I read you the blurb without giving away Jade City? So on the island of Kekon, the Call family feuds for control of the jade that endows greenbone fighters with supernatural speed and strength. Faced with threats on all sides from foreign powers, the Calls are forced to form dangerous new alliances, confront enemies in the darkest streets and the tallest towers, and put honor aside in order to do whatever it takes to ensure their own survival. And that of all, the green bones of Kekon. It's another quite chunky one. Let's see what we got. Oh, Junie Mac. Right, we're talking 587 pages. How are we stacking up? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Okay, we've got 6. We go for one more, just because I'm enjoying my jar. I don't know if you can read these at all, but a spooky book. I'm really delighted with that, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Got one. And this is a book that is by one of my favourite authors, and it has been made into a film with Domhnall Gleeson, which is not pronounced Domhnall Gleeson, it's Domhnall Gleeson. Alright, but it's been made into a film. I've already seen the film and quite enjoyed the film, and the copy that I have unfortunately is one with the film cover, but anyway, it's the contents we're looking for, not the cover. It's The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. So I know when I watched the film I was quite creeped out by it. It's quite gothic, it's quite dark. I'll read you the blurb because I actually can't really remember it at all. In a dusty post-war summer in rural Warwickshire, a doctor is called to a patient at Lonely Hundreds Hall. Home to the Ayres family for over 2 centuries, the Georgian house, once grand and handsome, is now in decline. Its masonry crumbling, its gardens choked with weeds, its owners, mother, son and daughter, struggling to keep pace. But are the Ayreses haunted by something more sinister than a dying way of life? Little does Dr. Faraday know how closely and how disturbingly their story is about to become entwined with his. I'm really excited to read this. I just feel like I keep putting it off for absolutely no reason. Another longer one. It's 499 pages. So my stack is looking incredibly chunky. That's what we got. I should probably stop picking things out of the jar because I'm already under quite a lot of pressure. Nervous, I guess, because there's a lot of reading in here. But I'm also really excited to go back to some contemporary. There's like only one fantasy book in here, although Haruki Murakami tends to be like magical realism, so that might sustain me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to these, especially Jade War, as you know, but also the Wind Up Bird Chronicles and A Little Life and Crooked Kingdom. I think we've got a good stack. I like this TBR jar thing because you pick a prompt and then try to fit it to the books that you really want to read and then realise that you can't. But that's okay because I'm gonna have to read all these books eventually anyway. Okay, so that's me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Please, if you've enjoyed this chaos, give an old like, give an old subscribe. It's okay if you don't feel into that, that's okay. It's early days, You're not into commitment, that's okay, I get it. I'm gonna leave you to it because I've got an awful lot of reading to do. I hope you're minding yourself, I hope you're well, and I hope to talk to you really soon. Mind yourselves. Bye bye.